Hello viewers and a pleasant welcome to this episode of Situation Report Online TV. The Situation Report brings you 30 minutes in-depth analysis about contemporary happenings in Monrovia, Liberia. My name is Yealue presenting this edition of the program, and tip-top stories following say Education Minister Konneh sets new standards for becoming principal of primary and secondary schools in Liberia. The Non-State Actors Secretariat at the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning observes Open Government Week in the country, and an electric pole accidentally falls over a bus on the main street of that town. We bring you all of these trending developments plus so much more, but firstly, we'll take an intermission to be right back. Pleasant welcome back to the program. Education Minister Konneh has disclosed a new educational standard for becoming principal of primary and secondary schools in the country. Speaking at Minket's Thursday's press briefing, Minister Konneh declared that to be a principal for both public and private primary and secondary schools in the country, one must have obtained an undergraduate degree. Minister Konneh also outlined several plans on the way to improve the educational sector of the country.
The agenda, therefore, the education agenda for the school is intended to give them skills that they can help themselves, singularly or collectively, with entrepreneurial understanding that if you cannot find an office job, you can employ yourself. Skills that others come from other countries come here and they can live on it without working in government or working in any office. Skills that we wish for, that we do not have. And those skills must be given to the young people. Come what may, rain, shine, storm, or damnation. We are determined to do just that. This is why this summit is taking place. With just that background, I'm speaking passionately about this. And we intend to deliver education on the platter that all of us can see a couple of years down the road. We are hoping that the steps will be taken 10 years down the road. Our students, 60 to 75% should be able to perform in the WAS exam, or whatever exam there will be. 60 to 75% of them should be able to perform well. Well meaning Division 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 6, 7, and 8 should not be in our books. All of us know that 8 is throwing you off the cliff. 8 is not good passing. In fact, if I have my way and the summit approve it, we will remove it as passing. You don't graduate from high school with Division 8, which is less than ridiculous percentages. But it is considered to be passing. Only 9 is failure. If you are on the border of 8, and the majority of our kids are, then either we have not been doing our job, or somebody is not doing their job.
Well, Minister Sonin, speaking further, extended an open invitation to every Liberian to attend the upcoming Education Summit scheduled for May 21st to 23rd, 2018 at the Booker Washington Institute in Kakata, Marigibi County. According to the education boss, the summit is intended to brainstorm ways to improve the educational spectrum of the country.
Next year, we want to introduce skills program in every high school. And that's what we are working on now. The curriculum is being developed on 3 tracks. When you complete 9th grade, we will look at your results from 6th, 7th, 8th grade, and 9th grade. We are declaring that in the space of 2 years, to be a principal of a school, you must have a bachelor's degree. You don't have a bachelor's degree, you can't be principal of ABC school. ABC. You can't be principal. Private or public. And the reason for that is this. We are going to license teachers. License you. When we give you a license like the doctors do, the nurses do, the accountants do, the lawyers do, we protect the profession. When you get that license and you go to teach, you must accumulate what we call continuous professional education to maintain the license. And you must do that every year. And so certain number of hours, in the 200 hours or 150 hours, you must do learning new things. And to do those, only somebody who has the capacity to help you. That's why we're getting the principal to be bachelor degree. And all the new training will now train those principals. They will be the trainers. And they will conduct the lessons in their schools. So you don't have to leave your county or your school to go to a particular session. You will be trained right in your school. Every week, if it's 2 hours, it's 2 hours. But the principal who will have read to will be prepared to teach you. We intend to make sure that every high school has a laboratory, a functional laboratory. Functional laboratory. We want to also make sure that many of the schools in the interior area have residences for teachers, so that we can rotate teachers anytime we want to. So they will not go and they leave. Those kinds of things. You need money. The more we get, the more we shall do.
Well, the United Nations office in Liberia has committed to supporting the government's pro-poor agenda tackling the issue of maternal mortality by making health care the #1 priority. Marie Lizigaman, representing the resident coordinator of the UN at the official launch of the program Rebuilding Maternal and Newborn Health Services in Liberia at the Monrovia City Corporation, said the UN will continue to work with the government to ensure that no woman dies giving birth. She pointed out that the UN acknowledges the role midwives play in making the difference between life and death for hundreds of thousands of women and children in every year. The citizens on the main street of Vartown Thursday witnessed the accidental falling of an electric pole over a bus. According to our witnesses, the incident caused no electrocution or injury, as authorities at the LEC intervened immediately after being contacted by citizens while the pole was steadily falling. Though the cause of the electric pole falling has not officially been established, it is believed to be due to its shabbiness. Meanwhile, some of the eyewitnesses speaking to Situation Report admonished the government to start using iron poles on the principal streets of Monrovia in order to avoid such occurrence.
Sitting on the police and the level started to break. We got a sound of the started drowning. And the level started to break. And after they were breaking, we started to go. We missed 2 different cars. I was the last car and the set off. black car, one pickup, one maroon pickup is missing. When the car park, when you feel on the car, everybody jumped down. The Saryon were in the land. We were afraid when we tried to call the LEC, LEC come to our rescue, and LEC is here. So nobody can tell you doubt that. Car dance the level, no car hit the level silent breaking, small this. Nobody can carry any type of place, go, whatsoever. Nobody should carry it. The level fall down by itself. You don't plan the type of things in the city. It is not correct for the city. Anytime anything happens, maybe the LEC boys in the director. If you don't plan the type of level in the city, you use the iron pole for our own safety.
Our cousin with it. You put off now working. You put off on TT. to come see the damage. To put iron level, to put iron level in the capital city of Montreal. We teach all the levels. We teach the level to put iron level. You don't carry things.
Well, the Specialized Legislative Investigative Committee constituted by the House to probe the alleged inhuman treatment of a Liberian at the same Dabe or palm plantation has called on the body to take steps to correct several misgivings at the company. The committee headed by Magibi County Representative Teba Rosa Tapunwell has informed the House to instruct the management of the same Dabe to instruct the management of Simdabe to provide safe drinking water and latrine for students attending the Konneh High School on the plantation. The committee, having observed also that only a single Liberian was holding top managerial posts at the company, recommended to the body to ensure that Simdabe lives up to the terms as stipulated in the concession agreement with the company. According to the agreement, 50% of top managerial positions be reserved for Liberians exclusively. Well, if you just joined us, it's a reminder that you're viewing Situation Report on Live TV. Situation Report is 30 minutes, a comprehensive presentation of all of the major current events about Monrovia, Liberia. My name is Yealue Zobel, anchoring this thunder-striking edition of the program, and the trending stories following today say Education Minister Ansu Konneh sets new standard for becoming principal of primary and secondary schools in the country. The non-state actor secretariat at the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning observes Open Government Week in Liberia. And an electric pole accidentally falls over a bus on the main street of Vata. At this juncture, we'd like to take a break to be right back with the rest of our developments.
Audio Jungle.
Pleasant welcome back from that breather. The non-state actor secretariat at the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning Wednesday held a high-level engagement on improving the open government partnership in Liberia. The high-level roundtable discussion, which took place in the Cecil Dennis Auditorium at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, is in celebration of the Open Government Week, which is currently being observed in Liberia and other parts of the world. The roundtable discussion honored the theme, promoting transformative governance through citizens' participation and inclusion, brought together civil society organizations and government ministries, agencies, and commissions. making the Open Government Partnership presentation. The co-chair on the Open Government Partnership Steering Committee, Mr. Lawrence Yealue, outlined the different action plans that have been developed since 2013.
On 7th September 2011, Liberia signed on to the openness that we seek to enjoy, that we seek to make our democratic space a more vibrant one and improve accountability, transparency, and of course, a level of integrity that works in public spaces as well as within the civil society organization, so that together civil society and government can serve its people better. Because if we went back to the true definition of what a nation under the democratic leadership is, at the center of it all is the people, because it's the government of the people, for the people, and by the people. So everything rotates around the people. Hence, making information accessible to the people so that they make informed decisions, ask questions that they can satisfy their quests, improves our democratic space. OGP has, over the years, since 2013 up to present, developed 3 action plans. And the reason why this year's is most celebratory is that we've had a smooth transition, and it's very good that we can present to new members of the cabinet, new members of the government space, that this is what Liberia has signed on to, and this is not just a government's partnership, but it's civil society government partnership that improves our space. And every time when I have to present OGP to people, I'd like to say that the definition of traditional and civil society that is traditional has got to change. It's got to change that civil society is not the watchdog, but civil society should be more of a partner with a critical mind to government in ways that we serve our people and improve the space in ways that better explains who we are as a people and tell our story better and better than the individual self or the individual that work within the space. So whilst we have integrities, anti-graft institution within this, we want to celebrate as a country that this Action Plan 3 from 2017 up to 2019 it works on 4 basic areas with 10 commitments. And the thing about OGP is this: OGP has structurally 3 ways that it works in every country. 1, we have a chairman that is normally designed according to the structure of a country. In some countries, it is housed directly in the office of the president, like in Saryon. In other countries, it's housed in a ministry that controls and directs information and makes sure that information is disseminated properly, like we have in Liberia. And in other countries, it is in the house of the finances, like the finance ministry. So what we have is designed in ways that the Ministry of Information houses OGP and becomes the chairman of OGP. And then a civil society organization becomes the co-chair.
Well, Mr. Yealue, speaking further, explained the essence of the Open Government Partnership Program and called on government ministries, agencies, and commissions to help sensitize citizens about the initiative.
We are looking out for and seeking out your commitments as ministries, as agencies, and as commissioners. We want you to get on board. We have to do 3 basic things. 1, tell the Liberian people about this commitment that is here. We need to popularize this, and the media need to help us to get this out to the people. Let them understand exactly what the request, for example, of getting information looks like. How does this work? And why should you request information so that we all can be able to work and work better? 2, is for increased collaboration and better communication between government agencies, civil society, as well as the people of Liberia. And 3 is the accessibility of information, which, as part of our commitment in Commitment 1, we said in 2013 that government agencies will set up a public information officer. You will, as part of our FY law, you will appoint one person, you will designate that person to be the public information officer. And we just want to, in this manner, say thank you to Ministry of the various ministries that have done it, but a special thank you to Ministry of Internal Affairs for giving us this week, 15 public information officers in our counties. And
Meanwhile, the Open Government Partnership is a multilateral initiative that seeks to secure concrete commitments from government to fight corruption and to promote transparency and accountability while harnessing new technologies to strengthen governance. A fire disaster victim of Humphrey Island in Gardnersville has sent an SOS call to the government of Liberia and well-meaning Liberians to help rebuild his residence. According to Maurice Konneh, also a police officer, his house was gutted by fire recently, but the cause of the fire is yet unknown. Here is Mr. Konneh in an interview with me at the site of the incident.
I went to work. I received a telephone call that fire on my house, fire cooking. I will know where to call the fire up. So really, I don't know where the fire came from. Because nobody was in the house, only my mother and my sister were in the house here. I was so surprised, I don't know what they say. Kept begging people to help me.
And up to this time, you don't know where the fire came from?
I don't know, very confused.
But do you have electricity in the house?
Yeah, I have electricity, but he come in the evening, 6 o'clock, in the morning, 6 o'clock, they go back. And the incident took place around 11 o'clock.
Around 11, at which time the electricity was off?
Oh, you're off already, 6 o'clock.
But how sure? Because maybe sometimes, those who control the electricity, sometimes maybe they can want to do a testing of the electricity. You don't think maybe probably during the day they were just testing it, and there came that kind of fault?
Yeah, I can't tell because I'm not here.
But since they have invited maybe anybody to do an investigation?
No, police people came here and they saw the incident, they went back, but they're not coming back again. I said, where were the police again?
So the house was locked totally when this incident happened?
Yes.
It was locked?
It was locked.
Nobody was in?
No, my mother was staying outside, my sister was outside.
Wow. So what about the children, around? Because sometimes they go on a rampage by playing with all kinds of things, maybe gas, maybe kerosene, maybe candle, like that. Didn't you suspect anything like that?
No, my children, when I around, they were in school.
They were at school?
Yeah, I dropped them to campus. I went to work.
Wow. So when the incident happened, there was nobody to calm the fire down?
No, absolutely not.
So it's like when you came from work, in fact, the entire building was already done.
Yes.
Wow. So at what time we talking about it?
It was 11 o'clock in the day.
In the day, around 11. Yeah. But no neighbor couldn't come back to help, because this is a scenic area. I think Sen could help and water around.
They tried their best. The time they came on, it was late. Before they tried their best, they tried to find water around, water. But who can check now? No tell anything. Everything was damaged. Thank you for coming. Thank you. When I see you, I was very happy. Maybe you can answer those. I was together with Sir Joseph, so you can come to my age now. I'm a children. Now you go to school. I say I need to pay the week. Besides, I will stop prayer to sleep in the morning. Come back here. I'm a pinto, my child with a patio suit to come to my age.
So until help can come in, how do you hope to live maybe in the next few months? Because
I'm trying my best.
Okay. Including your children? How many children do you have?
I got 4 children.
Plus your wife? don't you have other relatives?
I got my mother. I got my mother and my
So
sister.
in entire to you, how many in the house?
Almost my mother, myself, my little daughter, my full children.
Well, this I would like to call your day on this episode of Situation Report. But before leaving you, let's recap major stories we've been following. Education Minister Ansu Soni says new standard for becoming principal of primary and secondary schools in Liberia. The non-state actor secretariat at the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning observes Open Government Week in the country. And an electric pole accidentally falls over a bus on the main street of Bad Town in Monrovia. Many thanks for your viewing role, and thanks to all of those who helped to make this episode of Situation Report a success. Special thanks goes to Fan Kai, who sat at controlled the technical aspect of this presentation. Solomon Clutch was behind the camera, making sure that this presentation is successful. On behalf of the entire management team here, my name is Yealue Zobel, and for more news and information on Light Communications Investment, you can log on to www.lighttv.online.com, or better still find us on YouTube at Light Communications Investment. I'm Yealue Zobel once more, bidding you farewell.